Hello, everyone, and welcome to another thought provoking episode on Serenity TV. I am your host, Goodness Chisholm, and today we'll be discussing a very hot and highly debated topic in the church and in political world. The topic is the church really deviating from its main purpose and digressing into politics? Is the church really deviating from its main purpose and digressing into politics? To help us unpack this, I'm joined by amazing panel of guests in the presence of.
Etabe Tobin Naume.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Pastor Anya was on.
Anita here.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, is the church really deviating from its main purpose and digressing into politics? What do you have to say?
For me, the answer is no. The church is what the church is doing is complementary. The church is complementing. The relationship between the church and the state are more of complementary. The primary goal of the church, first, is salvation of souls. What is called in Latin, salus animarum suprema lex. Salvation of souls is the goal of the church, and this principle is found even in Canon 1752 of 1983 Code of Canon Law.
But in the African world, the church is really digressing. I would say so.
In Africa, no. What do you mean by digressing?
Okay.
The church relates with states and politics in three key areas: in their social teaching, in the involvement of people with what they do. Remember, the people that are going to that church are members of the world, and man is by nature a political animal. So the people that are going to the church are political animals by the fact of man. So the church is not, rather the church is complementing with them. The action of the church is complete. That's why you see people, and the church also encourages people to engage in civic responsibilities, vote in elections at election time, participate in politics, but be a good ambassador when you go and participate in politics. So in that angle, for me, the church is not digressing. Maybe there might be one or two people who may not be following the right line, but you cannot abuse does not destroy use. So you cannot, because of maybe one or two people that maybe might not be or might be derailing, and now have that fallacy of generalization.
In political world, right?
Yes.
Nigeria, you notice that the church has a huge role to play during politics, right? Now let's bring it down to the last election that happened. I won't mention any candidate's name, but he was seen in different churches, and people were like, the church was like pushing, pushing him as their own candidate, right? So where should the church draw the line in this political world and Christian?
Yeah, when the church feels that a person maybe has better qualities that the world should emulate, the church can.
So we'll still come back there. What do you think, Ma?
To me, I think going into the church to get food and all that is still okay. Yes, because in the area of politics on its own is a game. So if you don't know how to play it, it's either you back up or you join them. Do you understand? But just like what you said, the main purpose of church is to, first of all, the salvation, but depend on whomever who is involved. Some of them are out there to buy their votes, while some of them are out there to get their salvation.
Are you saying that the church is biased?
I'm not saying so.
No, but you say something depending on who is involved.
Yes, it depends. Okay, let me go down. When it comes to some churches, yes, they always want, not all churches, some of them will want to dent their hands. Why? Because from whatever they'll get, and they know that yes, there is something out there, there's a fish out there they want to get.
Okay, but then where do you think that the church should draw line in the political world and the Christian world?
Citing words by the two speakers have said. On a nutshell, like the first speaker said something. He spoke on a Latin word. We are not philosophers. We are not. So all of us here are not philosophers. We are not philosophers. You understand? I like that so much. So what I'm trying to say in essence is, the real purpose of the church is to serve as a coach in the affairs of life. That's why God ordained people from birth. We have prophets, we have apostles. Their job is to checkmate the happenings in the world where they are sent to. So generally, the church is not deviating. The church is doing what they are supposed to do by intervening in political matters at one point or the other. But that does not change the fact that there are bad backgrounds in every organization where you go to. You understand? Some other people are taking advantage of the fact that the church has a role to play in politics, and they are not politicizing it. Church is not a political organization. You understand? But it serves as like a coach, like I earlier said. A coach is not a player, but could once be a player. You must not necessarily even be a player before you become a coach. Do you understand? But the coach is the person that sees the pitch from the outside world, from the outside of the field, and then he makes the necessary corrections where necessary. But the challenge we have, per se, that makes it look as if the church is digressing or the church is not doing the right thing, is because there is no unity of purpose. I think we don't call names, but let me call names. In the days of Archbishop Benson in Dahosa, we all know, but some of us that read histories, we know what happened. Archbishop Benson Dahosa stood his ground and ensured that the government of then was obedient to a certain extent. If you also cite the scriptures, you see Ahab and Elijah. You understand? When the leadership becomes barbaric, the church will call it order. So I think that's all for now.
Okay, now that's very nice. So I want to know, right? What do you think about church leaders and churches who are now getting more involved into politics? That's one. They're getting more involved into politics, and there are lots of things. I won't. It is known.
All right.
I won't like to
I want
start.
to ask her a question
Yes.
before you
Okay.
start.
All right.
I don't understand what you mean by getting involved into politics. Is it active politics or passive politics? We have active politicians, or somebody contesting for a seat, or a passive politician, somebody maybe supporting a political party or a person. So we need to understand.
Clarify.
You
Okay.
understand?
Okay. Now, what I'm trying to say is, not let me just break it down in this scenario, right? We say when the church is getting involved into politics, they bring out a candidate. There are many churches that have a political candidate who they've brought out as their own. This person is gonna be who we've elected, right? So for this social position. So why should the church be in how would I say this? Involved in politics?
In picking
Yes,
a candidate.
in picking the
The
candidate.
church has never been involved in picking
Yes.
a candidate.
There
Not before,
This-
not now, not
uh,
ever.
This is my first time of hearing that.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
and for me, as far as I'm concerned, it's mere speculation. There's no facts to prove it. Because no church has come out openly to say, this is our candidate.
candidate.
It's not a
But
political. It's not a political.
during
party.
political time, politicians can go to churches and they are free to go to churches. They have the freedom to go to any church, to go to any religious organization and sell their candidates. There's nothing wrong with that.
I think the point you're trying to.
It
sorry,
falls
sir.
within their fundamental rights.
Okay.
Yeah. I think, but what you're trying
I think the point she's trying to make is in a
Yes.
scenario where somebody goes to the church, or maybe the general overseer will come up and say something.
This is our candidate.
No church has even been directed saying
Yes.
this is our candidate.
Mhm.
I know a particular church,
Mhm.
which is my denomination, even
Okay.
in citing that scenario that happened in the past election.
Okay.
The bishop never mentioned anybody's name,
Mhm.
but he made us understand that we've had a bad leadership in the past, which everybody sees that it's obvious. And from spiritual point of view, logical point of view, human point of view, this candidate can be likened to be better than the previous. You understand?
Yes.
That was all that he did. You know, so now I've not seen, apart from one of the preachers that is in Enugu that people are accusing that he is being active in politics and all that. Well, like I said earlier, it doesn't mean that there are no people that deviate at one point or the other, which they can also be called to order. I know the person I'm referring to was also called to order by his oversight.
By spirits.
You understand? So he was called to order where he needs to be called to order. But that does not change the fact that the church has a pivot role to play
In
the
politics.
affairs of men.
Yes.
And the affairs of men is politics.
Now you say something that like now the church has not actually elected a member, but there's a particular church and what like we know we're not mentioning Nigeria yet, right? But this church, if I could recall correctly, they had a backlash with a former presidency.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? He was on seat, but he received it hot from this
A particular church.
yes, from this particular church. And today, people are asking questions. Why isn't he doing the same thing now that this current president is on seat?
Well, politics is an interest.
Okay.
Life is also full of interest.
Yes. And man is by nature political.
Political.
Man is a political animal.
Are you getting what I'm saying?
Philosophers analyze it. Man is a political animal.
Animal.
You can't remove man from
For
politics.
politics. So it's an interest.
Yes.
That person is
And that is a personal view. It's not a church.
Personal
So
view.
so it is.
So this
so,
is a well-known church.
No,
it's a
it doesn't matter.
Leadership
It doesn't
does
matter.
not mean that the
It's a
church must
well-known-
follow hook, line, and sinker.
Yes, it is a well-known church, but it is not the church's
Okay.
full. They didn't come out and say this is our stand.
This is our stand.
It's
It's a
a personal.
personal
view
matter. Even
of-
some people disagree.
Yes, of course.
And some people disagree.
So it's purely a personal.
So, but that's politics. But actually, in the sense that we are, what that we're likely to be substance.
And personally, I'm a Catholic, and I know that over the years, Catholic Church, Catholic popes have brought revolutions through their writings called encyclical letters. Starting from as far back, I can count up to 10 encyclical letters of popes, not just in the Catholic world, but in the world. For example, the encyclical of Pope Leo XIII of 1891, Rerum Novarum, which brought the Industrial Revolution and championed property rights of the 17th and 20th century. Then you talk about the Redemptor Hominis of the Redeemer of Man, the encyclical of Pope John Paul II of 1979, which talked about man as a member of as created in the image and likeness of God, and how man should be treated equally, and that is universal. There are so many talk about Pacem in Terris of Pope Paul VI of 1976, and then you even talk about Evangelii Nuntiandi,
Wow.
which is the proclaiming of gospel of Pope delivered in December 8th, 1975 of Pope Paul VI. And that one, he said, the modern man does not listen to witnesses, does not listen to teachers, but to witnesses. And if they listen to witnesses, they are listening to them because they are teachers. Let me come again. The modern man does not listen to teachers, but to witnesses. And if they listen to teachers, they are listening to them because they are witnesses. And that brought a massive revolution around the world, universal peace. And then we talk about the equality of rights and freedom of all people, created in the image and likeness of God. So the church involvement in politics is primordial, but their role is more of transformational and not to participate.
Not to participate. It's not
Actively.
active politics.
There is not to participate.
As a matter of fact,
Yes.
the church have not even done their role properly.
Problems. Yes.
They are being sentimental.
Yes.
You know, with the
Well,
sentiment
most
of,
often.
with the sentiment of this is a church. Why will he be talking about politics? He said, "Are you getting it?" So
Even inside church, there are inside church among church members and church goers, inside church politics. That one is even more.
church politics is worse.
much-
than
Yeah, that one is
politics.
even much
actually,
more
I
strong.
would like to
Stronger than civil politics.
There is
civil politics.
politics
But let's
in
leave
the
it at that.
church. No, we'll definitely talk about
That one is
that.
actually a politics.
That one,
Yes, it's
Yes,
important.
actually politics.
Yes, it's politics.
it is.
We'll definitely talk about that when we come back.
That tells you that human being is politically
You can't negotiate man. You can't
Out of
remove man
politics.
from politics. Man is
You cannot.
Even me.
Eh.
Man is bad, and it's all boils down to interest.
Yes,
at
it's
a particular
interest.
point in time.
interest.
Yeah.
For example, if I was invited here, and likewise others, if I do not have any interest to be here and to maybe to make a view, I will not come. I will find one reason I give.
Yeah.
So people, that is it. So it all boils down to interest, and it's a personal thing.
So we'll still talk about church
Sure.
politics. Let's go
Sure.
on a short break. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back from that short break. I'm still here with my wonderful guests in the studio, and we are discussing a very important topic: is the church really deviating from its main purpose and digressing into politics? Is the church really deviating from its main purpose and digressing into politics? Now, sir, let me know, how do you interpret this word, render to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, in today's political climate?
Yeah, render to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. It was even told to Jesus, hope you know, by Pontius Pilate's people. Render is pay your tax, perform your civic responsibilities, vote at election times. That is, do to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and to God what belongs to God. Pay your tithes, go to church, worship God, love Him. The prime duty, the first commandment,
and also pay your tax.
and also pay your tax. So it does not in any way. We have a papal encyclical called Fides et Ratio, Faith and Reason, which is the church should negotiate and relate. It's all about relationship between the church and the state, religion and politics. Okay, so render to Caesar what belongs to this. Do the things you should do. Perform your civic duties, and to God what belongs to Him. Love God as supreme above all.
Okay, that's good. So, sir, let me do the same.
Well, what I would say is just to add to what he has said. He said something about Jesus was even the one that made that step.
Yes.
I think when they came to tempt him in the Bible, they wanted to use that avenue to get at him. They said, "Sir, is he right?" It was in the context of a tax. He said, "Is he right to pay tax to the rulers of to the government?" I think he picked up the coin in that part of the scripture, and he said,
Yes.
whose face is it on the?
Yes, on
Is
the
it on
coin,
the-
yeah.
Yes.
And they said it's Caesar. It's okay then if Caesar is one written on it. Give Caesar what belongs
Belongs to
Yes.
Caesar.
Sorry. And at that time, Caesar was the emperor at Rome.
Was emperor.
Then Rome was the world power, like
Yes.
US is the world power today.
Yes.
Then Rome, in the time
Yeah.
of Jesus, Rome was the world power. And I hope you know,
So-
the language Jesus spoke was not even English.
So somebody,
Jesus never spoke
somebody may
English.
be asking now. Somebody may be asking now.
Yes.
Is it not that same thing that belongs to Caesar that are bringing to church?
That is it.
That is the same money that has Caesar's.
Caesar's, yes.
You understand?
Yes, yes.
So whether is it
That's
not the
true.
same? That takes us to economics. We all agreed, and we say let's represent our labor with
Yeah.
so and so.
So, yeah.
That's what makes money potent. You understand? Is this acceptability? We all agreed that this is so. In the area of give what belongs to Caesar, I think it is. It's talking about do your due diligence.
Yes.
Be a good citizen of Nigeria. Also be a good member of your church. Ensure that you do everything equally. That's what it means. There's no sentiment attached to that statement.
Okay, now
Politically.
going back, let's come back to the world of politics and the church, right? Do you think that the church is now open, and they know their rights and everything that comes with it, right? Now, do you think is the members of the church should question their leader on who they bring up on the pulpit as their candidate?
Well,
We've ascertained
there's
that
something wrong with open debates. When people were brought up to the podium to speak, they say their candidates, the things they are going to do to people.
But
And then members are given rights to ask questions, to interrogate, to interact. That's town hall meeting.
Sir, but is that supposed to be so? Should it happen in the church?
You can't remove the church from
Hold on.
politics.
Let me try to understand.
You can't avoid that.
Let me
That's
try
the
to
point.
understand.
You can't.
can't.
Yes, we have.
You
Because
can't.
they relate.
Let me try to understand my
can't.
question.
Okay.
Are you trying to say, does the church members have the right to question their pastors on who they bring to the pulpit,
And who
No,
not so?
not who they bring to the pulpit, right?
or who they give opportunity to speak on the platform?
A political candidate who comes to the political. Remember, like I said,
yes, the church has the right to do that.
100%, 101 over.
Because he's
Right.
also a member of the church.
he's not a member. Can't the church go and choose their own candidate?
How do you mean by choose their own
How?
candidate?
You have the selected candidate and you bring that, but the persons in authority try to impose their members to vote for a particular candidate.
Nobody has ever imposed anybody. In to the best of my knowledge,
Yes.
no pastor has the right, religiously, politically,
Okay.
And otherwise,
no
Yeah.
pastor has the right to impose any candidate. The church is not even a political party.
Yes, it's a religious organization.
Even the political party has no right to impose a candidate on the people. Talk more of a church.
Because there's no unity even among politicians.
Are you
But
getting
there is image laundering in the church, whereby the political candidate comes up in the church and everybody, this is our candidate. Like I know, we all know what's going on.
You know, I don't
Just
know.
to pass
that still
information.
takes us back to the fact
It's just to pass information.
that still takes us to the fact back
It's
to the
not
fact
to
that
pass you
No, that's
information.
just- it's
Image
just to pass
laundering.
information.
I said image laundering, right? Image laundering. A particular candidate comes to the church just to show himself. To the people.
another one will also come and show himself. It's a matter of choice.
They are,
See, some people choose to go
They are
to
political.
Some of them are
all of
active
them
and they
are all
won't say anything.
politicians.
That's where they get
are
to pass
politicking.
their.
So
Why
they are
can't
coming
the
to
church
say,
be neutral?
the church is neutral,
has always been neutral.
and will always continue to be neutral.
Okay, no problem.
Yes.
No problem. Do you think the church is used as a political tool in recent times?
It's used.
As a political tool in recent times?
Some people might use the church as a way to come and sell their candidacy, but the church has not been used or cannot be used.
And the church cannot be used.
Never.
That's the right word. It
Yeah.
can never be used.
Because
People can come.
as a matter of fact, if it is in a more civilized environment,
Yes.
the church is supposed to be one of the stakeholders that decides political matters in a country.
Yes.
If we have unity, peradventure,
Yes.
Christians are more than 10 million, are more than, is it 10 million? 100 million in Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Yes.
Speculation,
Yeah, well,
by assumption.
about that, yes.
It's just these are statistic inappropriate, you understand that? But if you check it properly, do you know how many churches we have in Nigeria? Some churches are packed full. General overseers are everywhere. Yes, they have members of over thousands. Catholic is there, Anglican is there, Winners is there, and let me mention but a few. So if we take the actual statistics of the number of people that are Christians in Nigeria with sincerity, I think the Christians in Nigeria should be more than the Muslims. Now, what I'm trying to say, if there is unity in the church is supposed to be one of the stakeholders that should determine the political affairs in the country. The church is supposed to be a place where politicians should come and tell us what they have in stock. Like Nigerians go to Chatham House to go and discuss, tell the Britain who they are, what they have to have. The church is supposed to be that Britain in Nigeria. You understand? If things are done properly, if there is unity of purpose in the church is supposed to be the Britain of the affairs of the country.
One of the prayers of Jesus Christ was that they may be one.
Oneness.
So we are still praying that the church becomes one.
And so
And I think
we've not even utilized our power. They are talking. They are disturbed.
They are unsettled.
We've not utilized our
But
power.
there is this belief that the church is silent. The youths believe. I'm coming from a youth perspective. Yes,
Silent
that the youths, the church is silent in all the disasters are going on currently in the country
I do not believe
because of the financial ties to the church.
No.
I mean, from the political aspect of the church.
I do not believe in it.
Wow.
Every year, for example, Catholic bishops, they hold meetings and they issue a communique about their deliberations and publish it all over the country. Pentecostals, most of them, sometimes they gather their general overseers, they issue communique, they issue their letters, some of them have pastoral letters they issue to their members. So I do not agree that the church is silent. The church, but you don't allow the church to be in the time of crusaders, where church went to war. Because we once had that during the time of crusaders, the early centuries, in 10, 6, 7 centuries, when we had pope, we used to have popes of like Pope Urban. When the church was, even the time of Henry VIII, when church went to war, we're no longer in that era. We're now in 21st century, the apex of civilization. So the church has ways of trying to refine the culture, the civilization of the time, and this is one of them.
Okay, this is one of them. But sir, you have not really...
There's something you said about money. There's something you said about
Yes,
about money.
yes, financial ties to the politics.
financial
right?
ties to
Yes.
politics. Is
You
so
have...
what you're trying to the question I'm trying to get the question right.
What I'm trying to say, So you like me repeating my question?
It's important. For emphasis purposes.
Let me explain right now. The church youths believe that the church has a financial tie with politics. Like they are getting money from people in power. That's why they keep their mouth shut.
Okay.
Okay.
Now I understand.
I do not agree to that.
No, but
I do not say it is possible. You see, this is I talk based on facts. You know, I don't just assume. It is possible for politicians to give church
some churches on the narrow.
I have no problem with that. Yeah, I have no single problem with that, as long as within their basic moral rights. But also, we have had cases where the church, we have had a case where a particular governor in Nigeria, went for Thanksgiving in church. And the bishop told him to use the money and pay
Bishop Obinna to be precise.
Apart from that, even before it has happened in Anambra State.
Rejected
and told him that he should go and fix it. And it happened recently in one of the states in the south.
Do you know? Are you also aware that a particular preacher went to do a crusade in the north?
Yes.
The governor sent him money. He rejected the money. Here and there.
Yes.
He rejected it.
So it's good for us to get our facts.
So, but we are not saying that there are no church leaders.
Yes.
Exactly my point. There are churches that are.
But those are negligible few.
Yes.
But not all, just few.
Highly negligible.
Just few. Not all.
Not all.
Not even negligible few.
Negligible.
Very negligible.
The number is very significant.
Very highly insignificant.
Oh my God, this is wonderful.
Yes. The church is trying their best to ensure that, see, if we remove the church from Nigeria, well, that's not what we've come to discuss.
Yes.
If you remove the impact of the church from this nation, both in human capital development,
in all ramifications,
both in moral maintaining of morals and order, both in financial assistance. Do you know that church employs more people now than the government?
In their institutions.
In all ramifications, sir. If we remove church from this nation, I know the next question you ask
morality will fail.
I know the next question you're going to ask me is that the youth said that the church is the problem we have in the country.
Yes.
Let me answer it ahead of time. Church is not the problem we have. But church is the solution
to the problems of
the
The politicians are the problem we have in Nigeria. They are corrupt.
Before we went on a short break, you said something concerning church and politics.
Yes.
Politics in the church. So, what do you have to say about that?
Politics in the church.
Yes.
Well, that's not what we're discussing. Man is a political animal.
Okay.
So whether in the church or outside the church,
there must be politics.
So at any point in time, and regarding what man believes, man has to politic. If it is within the church, they politic because they have an interest. And remember, you can't remove politics from interest.
And there is different views.
And there are different views and the channels of achieving that their end. So it depends. The way a man who has interest in politics, in church politics, and who is playing it may be different from the way a civil politician plays. Or even when that same man is playing the same politics in the civil world, it's purely different.
Okay. All right, viewers, there you have it. It has been a very wonderful time with the show. With our topic today is the church really deviating from the main purpose and digressing into politics. And you all can hear it right now from the speakers, philosophers, pastors, and the others, that the church is really deviated from its main purpose. So see you next time in another show, and follow us on our Facebook channel of Serenity TV. Also our YouTube at Official Serenity. Do well to follow us and drop a comment what your take on this topic. See you next time. Thank you very much.